We'd like to begin this podcast by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, the Whadjuk Noongar people, and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. Hi everyone, welcome to episode 24 of Talking Couch Potatoes. Hello Mel.
Hi, how you going?
I'm okay.
That's good.
We've got a lovely sort of episode today. I've said to you before that I think we need to change the minds of people who are already set in this idea that this industry should continue. But I also think, and I think you'd agree, that if we can change the mind of the younger generation or enjoin the younger generation to join us, that'll be like the longer term solution.
Absolutely, yeah. And I don't even think it's about wanting them to join us, or I think it's just giving them the facts. And then I think because of the way that we are changing, the way that humans identify with animals, the way that we
relate to them.
And what we understand about them now, I think the younger generations just will not accept the use of animals, especially for sport and gambling,
as commodities,
as we did. And so I think by getting out into schools and talking to children, and I think because so many more parents make their children aware of what goes on with greyhounds, if you have a greyhound, I think it'll just sort of happen.
And so we have a young 9-year-old fellow called Luka who actually emailed us, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, he reached out, and I can't wait to meet him because I just love the idea of getting that young voice. So stay tuned for that. What else? In terms of what's happening with Free the Hounds, I know that we've closed the electronic petition.
That's right, yep.
Yeah, and that did reasonably well.
Yeah, not quite where we'd like, but, you know, just over 12,000 signatures.
Right. We need double that, really. So we've extended the paper petition.
That's right. It's going to be tabled on the 15th of October. Dr. Brad Pettit will do that. And if anybody would like to get a paper petition and have your friends or family sign it, you can go to our website. You can reach out to us on any of the social media platforms and we will email you the link. If you're stuck and don't have a printer, we are happy to get them to you somehow.
And it's an election year, Mel. You keep mentioning this, and I understand now why that's important. The pollies do their thing most of the time, but when it's time for them to get our votes, especially on the margins, they will listen.
That's right.
So, but they'll only listen if your voice is loud enough.
That's right. As we've discussed before, it's not about wanting to end it overnight. It's about a phase out, and it's about helping the dogs, the participants, and the government over a 3-year period where everybody can adjust and it can be done sensibly.
So we've got some events coming up, Mel, that you can help out.
That's right.
There's the Earthwise Market. What's going on there?
Yeah, in Subiaco. That's a really nice community-orientated event. That's on Saturday the 31st. Then we will also be at the Kingsway Community Markets on that same day. That's with Greyhound Adoptions WA. They also have a stall there. So if you're looking to maybe adopt a greyhound, or if you can help fostering, or even financially if you can help, they always have so many vet bills and things like that. Please go along and say hi, and then you can add your name to our petition while you're there. There is also Heart have a quiz night in Riverton on the 31st as well. It's a busy day that day. And there is $30 tickets available. You can either get a table or you can buy individual tickets, and they'll make you a table with some other people that have bought individual tickets as well. Also at Pet City Mandurah as well, Greyhound Adoptions WA will be there. So there's the north and south, and see some of our ambassador houndies as well. And
that's worth it alone.
The trip alone, exactly.
Yeah. We're going to head into our interview with Luka. Let's see how it goes. All right, everyone, as I said earlier, we have what I think is the future of the end of greyhound racing, which is the youngsters.
Exactly.
The one who are going to carry the torch forward. And people like this young man will lead the charge, and his name is Luka.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent an email to us, didn't he?
That's right, yep.
It was a beautiful email. Basically, the best part of it was that he said he loves our podcast.
That's right, and listens to it with his mum. And he came up to me too at our trivia night and was very courteous and very kind and said hello to me, and So it's really great that we've got the next generation just standing up and already being aware of the difference between right and wrong when it comes to animals and gambling on them and things like that.
Yeah. So well spoken in his
Very,
email.
yep.
Mainly I wanted him on the show because he loves our podcast, but also I'm sure there's other reasons to have Luka here.
Absolutely.
Hi, Luka.
Hi,
Hello.
Luka.
How are you?
Good?
Are you a little excited and a little nervous?
Yeah, both. I'm shaking, but I feel excited.
I'm excited to have you here. We just met just today.
Yeah.
Literally right now.
Yeah, like
2
2 seconds ago.
2 seconds ago. And I think we're already best friends. Can I say that?
Yeah.
Brilliant. Love that. Luka, can I begin by saying, you've said to me in the email, well, I picked up, you have a real love for animals. And I got the sense that you really love dogs in particular. Can you tell me what it is about dogs that makes you love them so much?
Well, Greyhounds in particular, because they're always super clumsy and goofy. And when you sit down on the couch with them, they'll always snuggle up with you.
They're snugglers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Walter was the most snuggly.
I agree. I never had doggies when I was growing up. Never had, pets.
Oh.
No.
I
yeah.
didn't actually know that.
Didn't you not know that? Yeah, I discovered the joy of dogs, particularly greyhounds, at a very late time. And what I discovered was that there's a love that they give that is quite unique.
Yeah.
Do you think?
Yeah.
It's the snuggliness,
Definitely.
the goofiness.
Yeah.
So tell me, Luka, what do you think makes them so special?
Well, most of the time they're big suck-ups. They always want to come up to you, give you snuggles, and then the other one will come up and then fight over it most of the time. And we've just had one staying over, Huey, and he was ripping up all the toys.
You had a guest?
Really playful. Yeah.
Luka, tell me a little bit about a gorgeous creature you just mentioned, a Walter.
Well, he always had the stinkiest farts.
Me too.
He would always come onto the couch with me whenever I was watching something, but he was really special to us.
And this was your first
Greyhound.
Greyhound, yeah. And how long ago did you...
Probably when I was about 4 or 5 years old.
And how old are you now, Luka?
9,
Wow.
nearly 10.
Yeah, right. So you're nearly double digits.
Yeah.
So you knew Walter since you were 4 years old, basically, round about that?
Yeah, around there.
And there's a story that you mentioned Walter is famous for eating a sponge. I want to know about his business. What's this sponge eating business?
I don't really remember much of it, but I've gotten told it by my mum 1,000 times since it happened.
What do you remember of the story? There was a sponge.
He
and
swallowed a sponge that was full of petrol.
Oh dear.
And then I think he got surgery. Yeah, his owners were gonna put him down, but then the vets helped it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you guys took Walter on board into your family,
Yeah.
he was a sponge-eating surviving dog,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
When we were there, we were always we liked another dog Pepper, I think it was. But then the reason we took Walter home is because he always was the only one that was always coming up to us every time we came in, and he didn't want us to leave.
Oh, I love that. Because in a way, don't you think that the greyhounds choose you? You don't choose them?
Yeah.
Do you think that's true?
Yeah, in some ways, yeah.
Yeah. When I met my beautiful princess Bunny, we went to the kennels, I guess, and there was a whole bunch of dogs. And we walked in, and Bunny just ran straight up, put her hands, front legs,
Yeah.
on my shoulders, licked my face like she was saying, "Hi, Dad, been waiting for you."
Yeah, so clearly she wanted you to be the person to take her home.
Thank you very much. Luka's so insightful. Luka, can we talk a little bit? I know this might be a little sad for you. And for those who have lost loved ones, we do talk about the grieving process. In episode 21, we talk with Grant, who's a pet loss counsellor. What was it like for you at the very young age that you were to lose your beloved Walter?
It was very sad because we were just waiting to see what was up. and then they came back and said that he had like 1.5 liters of fluid on his lungs. They said they'd only gotten out like not even half of it out, so it would have taken a lot more effort. So we either had the choice of him going through more pain or putting him down and him having a happy life.
Did you talk to mum and dad about that? Did they talk to you about that? Like, was it...
Yeah.
Yeah.
First, I didn't really want to do it, but then I thought
Yeah, I bet.
to myself that he was going to go through more pain to only live for not that much longer.
Yeah.
So...
Did you get to say goodbye?
Yeah, we had like a whole time. We were in like the meeting room where we just got to like pat him and say goodbye.
Did you cry?
A lot.
I bet.
My mum cried the most.
Yeah. And how did you go after you'd said goodbye? And thank you for talking about this, because I know it can be tricky.
There was a lot of like patting Poppy. Poppy was like the main person we would always come up to.
Yeah.
For quite a long time.
Yeah. And Poppy, I want to talk about Poppy too, as well. I just want to point out, Mel, that isn't it amazing that I think as an adult, I'm not sure how well I would cope, as I've mentioned, with losing Bunny. This young man is so able to really reflect on loss in such a lovely way. And,
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think the younger you are, I don't think you have quite so much a fear of loss as we do as we get older. Young children are so much more resilient too than we give them credit for. So having kids of my own and them having been through similar things, it's I think adults can take a leaf out of their books sometime. I think we are much more self-serving than what kids are.
Yeah.
So.
You teach us a lot, young man. You've just taught me a lot about how to manage and are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all good. I'm just looking at my mum.
It's so. Can I just let our listeners know, if that's all right, that the one thing Luka's worried about is mum, because mum's here in the studio. He's just looking at his mum to see if mum's okay, which is again what
Sweet
a beautiful
boy.
level of maturity and insight. You're an awesome kid, Luka. You mentioned Poppy.
Yeah, when we first got her, it was really tough. We had to like pick her up, lift her into the car, and it was really hard work for my mum.
Why did you have to lift her in? Can you tell us a bit about that?
She was just way too nervous. She wouldn't come near us. She was so scared.
Okay.
And then after a while, she started getting quite a bit better. And then we went on holiday, and then we're like, okay, Poppy's going to be all good when we get back.
Yeah.
We got back, and it's almost like she restarted.
Oh no! So we had to reset altogether.
Yeah, she got like used to the person because we went away for like a month. So to Europe.
Yeah.
And then.
Yeah, and then it was.
Sudden,
we've just met each other again. Yeah.
Yeah. And how old was she when you adopted her?
She was 5.
Okay, so and she was straight out of racing, was she? At 5?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a long time for her to be sort of in kennels and just going through what a racing dog does rather than as a pet dog. Because I have a girl at home very much like that called Gina that is, very difficult to be around other dogs or other people or things like that because she just gets so scared of everything.
Yeah, at first we thought that fostering was going to be really easy because we first started off with Paddy and he was gone in like not even a week, I don't think. It was like 5 days and the family already wanted him.
Yeah, yeah.
They didn't even bother about like doing the next meeting with him. They were like, I just want to take him home.
Right. Whereas with Poppy, how's she going now?
She's going okay.
Yeah.
I reckon she can still do a lot better, but she's improved a lot since then.
And I bet that's down to the love that you're giving and the attention and the forgiveness for her quirkiness. Do you think that's a part of it?
Yeah, I guess. But because we thought Paddy was so easy, my mum and me thought it would be a good idea. Okay, this is easy. We can just do it again. And then we had Poppy, and we had her for like we fostered her for a year, and nobody came together, so then we decided to adopt her.
Oh my goodness, isn't it beautiful that like there was this troublesome child, basically. You had a troublesome child and nobody wanted them, and you went, well, we'll look after you.
Yeah.
Isn't that lovely?
Does she like the other greyhounds that come to your house?
Yeah, she usually plays around with them.
Yeah.
Especially my grandma's dog, Alvin.
I love that name.
I was going to ask you about this. This is my next question, actually, because you let me know in your email that you and your family and your friends, you've encouraged them all to sign the petition, which is wonderful, and I want to ask you about that later. But you've also encouraged family members to become adopters.
Yeah.
Your own grandma loved Poppy so much. Was it Poppy?
Yeah.
That she adopted.
Even though she was so scared.
All right.
Yeah.
And she adopted Greyhound too. Tell me about Alvin and about how you got Grandma how you sucked her into adopting Alvin.
Well, I thought that when we met Alvin, and I thought that he was really good, so I was like forcing my grandma. I was like, oh, I think you'll be good with him. And then my grandma finally took him home, and then it helped her like quite a lot, because then she had a companion to like like if I wasn't like staying over or anything.
Are you Grandma's companion otherwise? Are you the favourite grandchild? Can I just ask this?
I'm the only grandchild.
Oh, you're really the favourite then.
So you must be the favourite.
Yeah.
Can we give Grandma a shout out? What's Grandma's name? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah? Go and say good day to Grandma. She might be listening.
Lizette.
Hi Lizette, how are you? Luka's a hero. You've got a beautiful grandson there. Lizette, Alvin, thanks for listening. Speaking of listening, Luka, I know you're a big fan of the podcast, because we are the goal of the podcast is to get people informed, educated and involved so that we can ultimately protect these beautiful creatures, stop the death, the injury, the carnage, really just end this sport. What would you like to hear on the podcast?
Maybe when the greyhound racing industry stops, there could be like the last episode, and it could be a really big one about like how it had stopped.
Yep. What do you reckon, Mel? When this anachronistic, outdated, unsustainable, inhumane, so-called blood sport ends, what if we had all of the just our favourite guests?
Yeah,
not all of
great.
them, just the favourite guests come on.
Yep.
Do you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll have Luka.
It'll be a big party, I'm telling you. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know, Luka, that we've got 29 countries listening to us right now, all around the world?
I think I may have heard that on one of them. So, yeah.
I may have mentioned it once or twice. Do you know which country I really want, Luka? Have you listened? If you've listened, you'll know there's one country that isn't listening yet that I really want.
Greenland.
Yeah, that's the one.
We can't get anyone in Greenland.
And this podcast can't end until Greenland jumps on board. You mentioned the petition. Thank you for encouraging friends and family to sign it, and thank you for acknowledging our legal responsibility to note that you can't sign it when you're 9 years old. But what do you think kids like you, your age, could do to help us make this world a better place for greyhounds?
I reckon they could follow people like me and other people that like the greyhounds and want the racing to stop.
When you say follow, what do you mean? Talking
do like the same things,
and
then make sure that they want it to stop too.
So listen to people. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and then it's not just like a couple of people, like a couple of like boys and girls just
I like
doing
that.
It themselves.
I like that a lot, because we've spoken a lot about the idea that we can talk to people who already believe in your cause, and that's fine, and we'll all enjoy that. But actually, you want to encourage people to follow you on a path toward justice. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I thought I phrased that pretty well.
It's very good.
Thank you, Luka. So I think we've had a pretty good chat so far. Mel, do you have any thoughts and questions for?
I was going to say, Luka, if someone was thinking about adopting a greyhound, what advice would you give them?
That they're always going to give you a lot of love and going to be a great companion for the rest of their life.
And if you could tell any of our politicians or the Premier what you think about greyhound racing right now, what would you tell him? If you got to have a chat to him, what would you tell him about it or how you feel about it?
That everybody should like them and that it should stop.
Love the simplicity of that. I just love the idea that everybody should like them and it should stop.
Yep.
I'd like to put that on a poster. You've been amazing, Luka. Is there anything else you want to chat about? Can I also, before you go, sorry, I forgot about this. So Luka hasn't just come on the podcast. He hasn't just emailed us. He doesn't just go to events. And I have to give a big shout out to Luka's mum as well for growing and supporting and raising such an advocate. Hi, Kim. Thank you for bringing Luka. He also, Luka wrote a beautiful thing. Can I read this, Luka?
Oh, yeah, it's
Is
fine.
that all right?
Yeah.
So you spoke about earlier that you want what the best that young kids can do is help people to follow them, to educate and to follow. And you've written a lovely thing for your school report.
I think this is the one I did about when I was in year 2.
Wow. So you started as an advocate very young.
Yeah, so I didn't really care what I was writing about because I was a lot younger.
Well, to me, it reads like you really do care quite a bit, actually. Take it away. Take it away, Luka.
Okay. Dogs are the best pets in all shapes and sizes. Doesn't matter whether you have a small, medium, or large dog. You will always have the best pet. I have a dog, and he is a medium-sized dog, and he is a rescue greyhound from Gower. Gower is a greyhound rescue group with the most cutest and sweetest greyhounds. Greyhounds from Gower are desperate for homes. That is why you should get rescue dogs.
That is beautiful. Thank you, Luka. And would you believe, Luka, we're actually interviewing someone from Gower on our next episode? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just gave me a beautiful segue into the next episode.
Exactly.
Thank you so much. I think that might wrap us up for today, Mel.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you so much, Luka, for coming on.
Thank
And we'll
you.
have to get you back. We're thinking about having a round table with some kids and letting them discuss and talk about greyhound racing with a few different ages. So perhaps you could come and join that as well.
Yeah, that would be good.
Would you come and talk to us again?
Yeah.
Because frankly, you said to me you were nervous, and I don't believe you because you were
Yeah,
like a professional.
Now that it's all done, it feels a lot better. I thought it's being in front of like a lot of people that they listen to it, and then it would feel really nerve-wracking because I'm doing it to public.
Right. But there are 29 countries listening to you, Luka. What do you think about that? That's pretty nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Luka. You're a little champion. I was saying in earlier episodes, I didn't become an advocate until I was 40 years old. You're an advocate before you're even double digits, mate.
That's awesome.
So thank you so much for giving the love that you gave to Walter. Thank you for giving the love you're giving to Poppy. Thank you for encouraging Grandma to give love to Alvin, and just keep giving the love. And also a big shout out again to Kim, who is Luka's mum, who's raised a very, very handsome and lovely and charming social justice warrior. Thank you, Luka.
Thank you.
That was lovely, wasn't it, Mel?
Yeah, he's a sweet kid. Very nice.
Even his sense of, I think you mentioned around the loss of Walter.
Yeah.
There was just a quiet sort of understanding that adults tend to get wrapped up in all sorts of things.
Yeah, I think we worry more about ourselves than kids do.
Yeah, and
We just take it as it comes.
I wanted to just end this podcast in a different way, Mel, if that's okay. And I know you're not aware of this, but you've recently had to say goodbye.
Yeah, yep.
To your beloved Anna. And I know you have a Greyhound health survey on the Free the Hounds website on osteosarcoma.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you have a very personal experience of that recently.
Yeah.
First of all, I just want to, you give a shout out to you and to what you're going through. and to let the Free the Hounds and Talking Couch Potatoes podcast community and all those who care about their greyhounds know that Mel has had to say goodbye to Anna. Just check in on you, how you doing?
Yep. Yeah, as she went over the bridge very peacefully at home amongst those people that loved her after her chicken nuggies and an ice cream sundae. Yeah, myself and the kids were all with her, and our other greyhound and the cats. She, 2 days before that, or actually no, only 24 hours before that, she'd been playing outside with Gina in the front yard, and I was actually watching them out the window, and I thought, gosh, she's so happy. They were just sort of the last bit of the sunshine. And yeah, then I just heard that hideous greyhound scream of death, but it was a level higher. It was just, and went out there and her front foot's pointing sort of in the wrong direction, and I just, knew obviously that it was fractured or something like that. So we took her straight up to the vet, and unfortunately when they did the x-rays, they found osteosarcoma within the fracture. So that's obviously why it had fractured so easily, because a dog shouldn't be playing and
doing a zoomie.
Exactly, yeah. So and because she had toes amputated on her other foot through racing, it wasn't a good prognosis for her to have amputation or anything like that, because just weight bearing on the front alone is difficult, but without having two toes. And she's not a little dog, she's a 30-kilo female, she was big, so... Yeah, so, it was really, really difficult, but, So just another thing that the industry has to be accountable for is the fact that they breed these dogs endlessly without thought or care to the genetics that these dogs might carry, or even to take the time or the energy to do some really hard looks into how our osteosarcoma is carried, because her father died of it as well. So it's just another thing that these people just don't care for, and the community have to face this. Out of a group of 7 on our committee, 4 of us have now lost our hounds to osteo. And if it is that prevalent in a breed, then they shouldn't be bred for racing just to die from osteosarcoma.
Well, I guess, Mel, that the people that are breeding them aren't thinking that far ahead.
No, they're not. No, they're not, and they should be. And particularly in WA, as it is a government-owned and run organisation, it's just sickening that our government pays people to do this.
Well, can I say, Mel, the one thing Anna did have is an extraordinarily loving life.
She was just honestly the best dog. How these dogs can be so forgiving after what they've been through, and can just lift you up, and we don't deserve them. We just don't.
Well, I think Anna deserved you, and she deserved the life she got. So for those listening now, please log online to Free the Hounds. Check out the Greyhound Health Survey. Big shout out, and I guess a farewell to Anna. And our thoughts, our heart is with you, Mel. Not only did you give Anna a beautiful life, you are doing everything in your power, tirelessly, day in and day out, to ensure that every greyhound has a beautiful life. And I'm going to end the podcast on that. Please, everyone, keep that in mind, because we need to release the hounds.
Yep. And fly free, beautiful girl.